there. My name is Adam Eakin. I'm the Assistant Director at the University of Nebraska State Museum. And I will also be the primary contact point for the project team during this upcoming year. We're really excited to be a sponsor for the Senior Design Project. We think that the impact that the project team will be able to have on us as a nonprofit will be enormous. And we really look forward to being with them and sharing a little bit more about what we do. So the museum's mission is to promote discovery of our natural world and world cultures through research, museum collections, learner-centered educational programs, and public exhibitions. Those of you who may know the museum a little bit better may know that we actually have 4 locations, but we are a single museum. We have asphalt fossil beds, which is the photo on the far left there. That's located in northeast Nebraska. It is an active dig site that is open to the public. You can go and see what they are excavating. Primarily rhinos at this point, but there's also a large number of other animals you can find in that area. The second photo you may be more familiar with, that's Archie at Morrill Hall. You may have even given the statue version of Archie a little bit of a high five for luck during finals week. Our third photo represents our museum collections. We actually have somewhere between 13 and 14 million specimens in our research collections, covering all 8 of our divisions: geology, paleontology, parasitology, entomology, and so on. And the research team may even get the opportunity to go over there and visit those collections. There's some really special things over in that space. And lastly, we also have Trailside Museum. That is located at Fort Robinson, out in the panhandle of Nebraska, and it is our smallest site, but it's an important site serving our rural communities in that area. So who do we serve? So at Morrill Hall, which will be the primary focus of this for the project team, although it will be used at our other locations, we serve 90,000 visitors annually. 25,000 of whom are K through 12 students. That's from approximately 1,000 different schools and classes. So a large amount of interaction with schools right across the state and often beyond into other states. However, our primary mission is the people of Nebraska. And that is why so many of our collections are heavily focused on Nebraska. So what is this project? What is our issue that we are having? So right now, with those 25,000 students, we currently have a manual process to book their reservations. The teacher submits a form online that goes to a member of our team who reviews the reservation request, assesses it against a number of factors, but these are probably the 4 most important ones here: the date, time of visit, the program location, educator availability, and the number of students that are attending. And they basically look at that, decide, do we have capacity to facilitate that request? If we do, great, they book it and send the documentation to the teacher. However, more often than not, the vast majority of the time, we've got some kind of conflict. Whatever that is. Sometimes it's the date and time, sometimes it's the program location, sometimes it's that we don't have an educator available to deliver the programming. If any one of those dependencies is unavailable or doesn't meet what the teacher is looking for, our reservations person has to go back to the teacher, find a time, date, location, program that will work for them. Give them a number of different options. Unfortunately, because teachers are often teaching during the day and unable to answer the phone, this means that there's often a lot of backwards and forwards through phone calls, through emails, and the current lead time for the entire process is about 7 to 10 days to actually go from making the reservation request through to actually booking. That causes a lot of logistical issues with the teachers. They cannot book transportation for their students. They can't get information out to parents until they've actually gone through got their confirmation for the field trip. In terms of the actual field trips themselves, there are multiple, as I mentioned slightly a little bit earlier about some of those dependencies. We have gallery programs, which is kind of says what it said. It is what it says. It's a program that takes place in one of our exhibit galleries. For example, in Elephant Hall, we have Elephants, Rhinos, and Dinos, a very popular program that we deliver to many schools and many groups. And unfortunately, we're not able to deliver more than one program in a lot of our spaces at one time. So that often puts restrictions behind many schools, how many kids we can serve, how many people we can serve. Likewise, we also have planetarium shows, similar capacities in terms of numbers and programs. And the last option that teachers can book are just what we call a self-guide. It's their opportunity to just come and walk through the museum with their students. As you can probably tell, having a manual process with 25,000 kids is very time consuming. It takes up an awful lot of our staff time. It also adds a lot of stress and issues for teachers, and really is not an efficient or streamlined process. So what we would like to work with the project team to do is to create a system whereby our teachers can make those reservations directly. That there's a real-time tracking of the time of visit, the program location, availability, students, etc. That they can go in, they can choose from a calendar or some options of what, so that they can actually decide if that meets their requirements. Unfortunately, our current CRM system does not have an appropriate API through which we can connect. So we'd be looking for our project team to work on something that we can upload on our end to make sure that it's up to date and that it's available for teachers, and then something that the teachers can then engage with. Because that API is non-functional, it also provides a lot of flexibility for our project team. And we will be, looking to you to help guide us on what you think is a good solution, good language, good programming to do that. Project impact. There are a lot of impacts from this project, and the impact that you will make on the museum is really substantial. The first of them is financial. The museum is heavily reliant on earned revenue. So that's school groups visiting the museum, that's visitors coming in, members of the public, selling items in our gift shop. That's what keeps the lights on in the museum. And without that income, we are unable to function. What we find though is because our process for reservations is so time consuming, it's manual, and it often has so much backwards and forwards, is that we have teachers who just give up. They decide it's not worth the headache, it's not worth the hassle, and so they back out, decide not to come. Obviously, that creates a financial strain on the museum, being so heavily reliant on that earned revenue. Creating a streamlined process where we're providing really good quality customer service to our teachers will help us kind of overcome some of those challenges. Our second one is staffing. We have a member of staff who, because it's a very manual process, they spend the vast majority of their time just going back and forth with teachers, trying to find reservation opportunities that we can serve and deliver. This working with these schools is a huge part of our mission overall as a museum. It's incredibly important. It's trying to spark that interest in science. And we're really, by introducing a more streamlined process, our hope is that will free up our staff members' time to work on other projects. We only have 24 full-time members of staff across all four of our locations. So we are often very stretched thin in terms of what we're able to accomplish. So freeing up that staff time will really have an enormous impact on us as a museum and our ability to fulfill our mission. And lastly, teachers. Everyone, I don't think it's any surprise to anyone that teachers, it's a very stressful job, it's a very hard job, and so we want to make this process for them as quick and easy as possible. Our programming that we deliver to schools adheres to this state curriculum for science, and so them engaging with the museum is an opportunity for us to ensure that these kids are receiving high quality, accurate educational programming, and it takes one piece of that stress off teachers. Now, creating this program is not going to remove every stress that teachers have, but we want our opportunity that we have to engage with them to be as efficient and effective as possible. And so, with 25,000 kids, students attending every year, the impact that you will have as a project team statewide for teachers, for those students, is going to be enormous. And so we're really looking forward to working with the project team. We're really looking forward to working with you and coming up with some solutions and how we can make this happen. And yeah, really excited to partner with you.